Insensitivity Index. February is usually a season of housewarming functions, thread ceremonies, and quick weddings, particularly for software engineers who come back from the USA on short visits. It is also the time for students to prepare for their examinations. My friend Suma had purchased a house and was keen that her close friends attend the housewarming ceremony. For us, it was an occasion to get together after a long time. The traditional ceremony was going on when I reached her house at an early hour. The other friends had not yet come. I found a place to sit and watch the puja while waiting for my friends. Though the house was quite a big one, the puja was being performed in a small hall, and just two carpets had been spread for the guests to sit on. Suma was busy doing the puja. She was wearing a beautiful silk sari, and the flowers in her hair added to her grace. As usual, the majority of the guests had nothing to do and were thus engrossed in chatting about a variety of topics. The problems of teenagers, the Prime Minister, gossip about Madhuri Dixit, Miss India, the best beauty parlors, the latest fashion jewelry. The list was endless. However, it was the subject of in-laws that received the maximum attention and active participation from many. Though I was listening to the conversation, there was an altogether different thought at the back of my mind. It had been hardly a week since the Gujarat earthquake, and almost all the TV channels had been telecasting the latest information. Although I did not know the victims personally, just the thought of their plight sent a shiver through my body, and tears welled up in my eyes. All this was on my mind constantly. Though I was not taking part in the conversation, I could not help but hear what some of the guests were saying. Look at Suma, lucky person. She got such a beautiful house at a good price. There was a tinge of envy in the women's tone. How much did she pay? Hardly 50 lakhs. It was a distress sale. I know the man who owned the house. Why was there a distress sale? He owned a factory and the recession hit his business badly. So he had to close the factory and sell the house. This house is so beautiful, all marble flooring and attached bathrooms with fitted tubes. It's a steal for this price. By the way, how are the preparations for your daughter's wedding getting along? I thought it is better to go to Kanchipuram and buy all the saris there. It works out cheaper and the choice of color combinations is better. What about the silverware? That is no problem. I know a person in Chickpet. He is our silversmith. I've told him to make 100 silver kumkum bharanis and 100 small silver bowls. The bharanis will be given to distant relatives and the bowls to the closer people. Have you thought of the catering? Am I a fool not to think about catering? I have discussed with my children and husband in detail. We have decided to have pani puri, bhel and chaat stalls on one side and South Indian snacks on the other side. Cool drinks and sweets are also included. We all love Gujarati sweets, but our cook has gone to Gujarat. He has lost his family. I wouldn't want him to come to the wedding because it is inauspicious. By the way, how much did you contribute to the earthquake relief fund? They were collecting money in my office, but I told them that I had given money elsewhere and did not participate. Our country is always facing one problem or another. There is no end to the problems. So why pay? Anyway, I don't have any relatives in that area. I wondered what our so-called upper middle class people were doing for Gujarat. Is it not a part of our country? I do agree that life is larger than death. One cannot go on mourning forever. But is our life full of only silver kumkum bharanis, Kanchipuram saris and wedding menus? Our children learn from watching us. If we all behave in this way, our next generation will also have the same insensitive minds. I remembered the story of a young prince with a beautiful wife and child. When he saw a sick person, An old person and a dead body. He renounced the world, became an ascetic and priest in our land. What would his social sensitivity index have been? How much have we learned from him? Asha and I were shopping on MG Road when we saw an old man walking slowly towards us. He might have been around 60 and with silver grey hair and a few wrinkles on his face. But he still looked fit. He looked at Asha and smiled. She did not show any sign of recognition. The man stood in front of us for a second and then walked away. After he left, I asked her, Asha, don't you think that man knows you? He smiled at you. Do you remember him? Of course I know him. He was my maths teacher in school. He taught us very badly and ruined my interest in maths. He was a terror, unapproachable and stern. He hardly taught us. There was anger and frustration in Asha's voice. She might have exaggerated. It is true that school teachers, more than college teachers, build our fundamentals. It is easy to teach at graduate and postgraduate levels, but difficult to do so at the school level. Teachers, good ones at least, must have an enormous amount of love for their students. Knowledge is not the only criterion to judge a teacher. I thought of my own maths teacher. I wondered how I would have reacted had he met me on the road. What would he have done and how would he have greeted me? He probably would have said, "Why are you wasting your time on MG Road? Go back to office or work at home. Don't teach without preparation." Without a second thought, I would have said, "Yes, sir." Then hesitantly, I would have asked, "Where are you staying? Can I come and see you sometime later?" He would have patted me on my shoulder with the same affection and concern that he showed me as a student, and both of us would have laughed. My teacher, Raghavendra Varnekar, was an extraordinary man in every sense of the word. He was from my hometown, Hubli. He lived a very humble life and did not receive any recognition or awards. He excelled in his profession even though he was not a graduate. He taught mathematics so well that we never felt it was a difficult subject. He would refer to mathematics as the queen of science. "Let us go and meet the queen," he would say as he led us into the wonderland of mathematics. There were numerous riders in geometry, hundreds of problems in algebra. He would teach them enthusiastically and say, "I'm here for students who believe they are not good in maths. Good and bad are concepts of the mind. If you are hardworking and honestly want to understand the subject, then you can have an audience with the queen." He attracted students to his class the way a snake charmer attracts snakes with his music. In his last days, he was unwell, and I went to meet him with a small gift. In spite of his financial difficulties, he did not accept it. He told me, "The duty of a teacher is to make a student confident to face life. Life possesses unknown examinations. The greatest joy to a teacher is to produce students better than him. I have done my duty very well. My students are so famous today that it gives me great joy and pride to be recognized as their teacher." I was surprised to hear this simple philosophy, which is very difficult to practice. Had he been in a bigger city and working in a bigger school, he would have made money by taking tuitions or by starting a school himself. He did not do that. He believed in his principle, and his life was an example of it. He reminds me of a burning candle, giving light to everybody while burning itself out. Today, when I stand on a dais and speak confidently or face any kind of difficulty in life, I think of my teacher. He taught me this lesson, which no amount of money can buy, no difficulties can dilute, and no university can grant.